Welcome to Brotherly Differences. I'm going to go solo today because we are starting a new series called Who's Better. And my co host Rob Blocker will be doing it a lot with me, but today I'm going to go solo and he's going to do some episodes solo also. But we're going to do a series called Who's Better. And I already have 3 episodes in mind. The first one's going to be for sure the hot topic, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. This is definitely going to be a little different than like trying to compare the stats and things like that. With this one, I'm just really going to dissect arguments. Most of them are for Jordan, but there are some for LeBron James that I'm going to have to dissect where a lot of Jordan fans and things like that kind of misscrew and kind of just look past. Look past. So that's definitely a thing I'm going to have to come up front with. And with LeBron, there's many arguments in the media, especially since LeBron playing now. People like Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, they just really lie to really make their opinions and stuff. And I'm fine. I'm fine with you telling facts and stuff because you do speak a lot of facts, but you do facts without context, and that's what I don't like. They do a lot of facts without context, and even Jordan fans do that. I'm a big Jordan fan. Jordan's my favorite player of all time, so you're going to think I'm coming in this bias. This is about to be an unbiased debate, and I'm not really debating nobody. I'm really just going through the dissection of lies, really, to be honest. And I'm definitely going to go through a few lies about Jordan also. So that's really what this is going to be. And people going to say, "Oh, you're just biased." No, I'm like I said. A lot of people call me a LeBron James fan. Some call me a LeBron James hater. I've never been a Jordan hater. People always say I'm a Jordan fan and a Jordan dick rider and things like that. I just speak facts, man. That's really what it is. There's definitely a little bias with it, but with this argument, I'm not going to be as biased. But we're definitely going to get right to this. So the first argument that I hear a lot. This is a big argument that's really a big lie, and I don't like it. It's not a lie. I'll tell you, it's not a lie. So the first argument is Jordan was 1-9 his first 3 years in the NBA in the playoffs without Scottie Pippen. Like Nick Wright say, that is a fact. That is a fact for sure. But it's a fact without context. Because if I were to say LeBron James didn't make the playoffs until Larry Hughes got on the team, isn't that a fact? That's definitely a fact. You can't debate that, but it's a fact without context. I'm not getting on LeBron for that, but it's a fact without context. So in a way, I'm taking up for LeBron because just like you say, Jordan was 1-9 without Pippen. I can say LeBron didn't even make the playoffs until Larry Hughes got to the team. It's a fact. Like Jordan 1-9 in the playoffs without Pippen was a fact. Now let me dissect this argument a little bit because the argument is really not about the Larry Hughes thing, but I'm just basically showing what Nick Wright does. Jordan's 1-9 without Pippen. That is a fact. He couldn't win without Pippen. Okay, LeBron's 1-9. He didn't make the playoffs until Larry Hughes came. The thing is, people won't look at it like that just because Larry Hughes didn't turn out to be the player that Scottie Pippen was, a first team All NBA a few years, first team All Defense, 50 greatest. So people won't kind of agree with it. It was like, that's a dumb thing, but it's really kind of a fact. He didn't make the playoffs until Larry Hughes got there. But to get into this first argument, let me dissect it. I agree. Jordan was 1-9 in the playoffs before Scottie Pippen got there. And this is where I tell a lot of Jordan fans, like my co-host Rob Blocker, don't try to make Jordan out to be perfect. Don't do that. He's not perfect. He's lost. He's choked. He didn't choke a lot, but he's lost and choked before. So stop making him out to be perfect. That's one thing I won't do because Jordan missed shots. He had bad games. He's lost in the playoffs. He's been swept before. That's why I always tell people it's not about that you lose. It's about how you lose and things like that. Who'd you have on your team and stuff like that. Like how it's not about who you had on the team. Also, it's about what was the production from the players. And that's where really I look at. The eye test is big, but the eye test is subjective. So to get into the 1-9, Jordan and the Bulls. Jordan was a rookie, 84-85 season. He lost to the Bucks 3-1. I won't say the Bulls lost to the Bucks 3-1 first round his rookie year. Second year, he missed 64 games, and I don't know how they got to the playoffs, 30-52. I don't know how they got in. They shouldn't have got in. That's why I tell people back then the NBA had some weak teams getting in with terrible records too. They was 30 and 52 and made the playoffs. Jordan missed 64 games that year. He only played 18. And he got swept by the Boston Celtics, and that's one of the greatest teams of all time, like the Warriors are. He did get swept in his second year, I will say that. In his third year, the Boston swept them again, swept the Bulls again. But what I tell people is Jordan was young, really young, developing with this team. So people really don't crucify him for that, really, because he was young. A lot of players first 3, 4, I'll say first 3 years, you really don't criticize him like that. Did nobody criticize LeBron when he didn't make the playoffs his first 2 years and things like that? Some players do win early. Dwayne Wade won his third year. Magic Johnson, Bird won early. That's great. But most players not leading teams winning early. And people really shouldn't get on them for that. I'm one of the people that don't get on them for that. So that's why I tell LeBron fans, okay, Jordan did get swept early on, but that was early on. And people always say he couldn't be burden him. That's not. Yes, he lost to them early. He definitely lost to them early. He was just getting to the league. He started dominating as soon as he got to the league. In his second year, he missed 18 games. So I'm telling people, like, you really can't use that. You really can't use that, the 1-9. But I'll get back to this. So Pippen was drafted in '87. And the next year, the Bulls won their first playoff series. But let me tell you some facts, though. Pippen in the '87-'88 season started 0 games. He started 0 games in the 82-game season. 0. He averaged 7.9 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists, only 20 minutes per game. So I'm telling people, like, his impact on that team was not as great as people think. Pippen came in very soft. He was just raw talent. His offensive game wasn't polished like it was. His defense wasn't as great. He came in very skinny and wasn't strong. So Pippen, he needed some development to do. In the playoffs, he averaged 10 points. His minutes per game went up, and he still didn't start. So his impact on that team wasn't it really Jordan playoff record. You can't really say he was 1-9 without Pippen, because the Jordan fourth year, actually, that was his MVP year too, his first MVP, where he got scoring title, defensive player of the year, and MVP. Pippen definitely wasn't an impact on that team. Charles Oakley was a big impact on that team. They had John Paxson and things like that. That was a solid team. They was developing and building. So the 1-9 playoff record is misconstrued because Pippen definitely didn't have a big impact on that team. He didn't start. He played 20 minutes per game. In the playoffs, he really didn't have an impact either. Because, like I said, I'm not getting on Pippen. I'm just showing the arguments. Like, don't act like Pippen just came in killing and helping the Bulls like that. No, he came in very soft. Him and Grant didn't have as much as an impact. Larry Hughes' impact in his first year with the Cavs, that was LeBron's third year when he first made the playoffs, than Pippen was with Jordan in the Bulls. Larry Hughes' impact was way higher. Larry Hughes averaged 14 points per game the first season with LeBron. So that's what I'm telling people, like, don't do that. I'm sorry, he didn't average 14. He averaged 15. He averaged 15 that season, and his playoffs number did go down 11. And I'm not saying Larry Hughes is all that, but I'm just bringing in an argument. You can say that argument for LeBron James too, just like you say it's a fact that Jordan was 1-9 without Pippen. LeBron never even made the playoffs without Larry Hughes his first 2 years. So I'm not getting on LeBron for that at all. I'm just saying if we're going to be picky about Jordan early in his career, I'm going to get picky with LeBron early in his career. So that's all I'm saying. So we can't use that 1-9 argument like that. So don't use that, because a lot of people don't get on players early in their career like that. And if you do, that's fine. But let's get on everybody. Is all I'm saying. So that's an argument that I would love to talk to Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd, even Shannon Sharp about, because it's really just misconstrued. And just, like I said, it's a fact. But like I said, we bring up a fact. LeBron didn't make the playoffs either his first 2 years until Larry Hughes came. That's how dumb that sounds. And Larry Hughes' impact was way higher than Scottie Pippen's. So don't bring that up. And then, like I said, let's get into some we're going to get into some facts here. Let's go to the 88 season. We'll go to the 88 season when the Bulls won their first round series against the Cavaliers. Let's go into some facts. Because like I said, I'm here to dissect arguments, and I'm definitely going to dissect these arguments. So they played Cleveland. Let's go to that series. Let's go to that series. So the Bulls won their first series against Cleveland. They had some battles with Cleveland, and they won that series. We're just going to. I'll go to a few games. Actually, I'll just go through the whole series. But in game one, Michael Jordan had 50 points. Let me see what Scottie Pippen did. Scottie Pippen had 0 points, played 19 minutes. How much help was that? You get what I'm saying? Like, Jordan had 50 points in game one. We're going to go to game two. Let's go to game two. And we all my information is coming from the basketballreference.com. That's if you want to look up any season games and stats, that's one of them. Let's go to game two. Jordan hit 55. Oh my God, 55 points. He did shoot it like he shot 45 shots that game, but he had 55 points. Shot 54% that game. Whereas Scottie Pippen hit 8 points. He did play 30 minutes that game. So Jordan just carried him. Had 2 50-point games to start. And that's what I'm telling Nick Wright. Like, Nick Wright, them just be lying, man. So Cavs did win game 3. Jordan had 38. Pippen had 6 points. Only played 16 minutes, I mean. So as you can see, like, Pippen impact wasn't really big in that first year. This was Jordan's first MVP year. So this is what I'm telling people. Don't bring that argument up. Jordan had 44 in game 4. Pippen did have 15 points. He shot good percentage that game. Pippen shot 80%. I'm sorry, that was his free throw. Let's go to it. Pippen shot 63% that game. So he did help that game for sure. He helped. They lost though. And in game 5, the Bulls won. The Bulls won that game. Jordan hit 39. Scottie Pippen hit 24. Scottie Pippen came to play in that game 5. He really did. Scottie Pippen came to play in that game 5. So basically, my argument is the 1-9 record without Pippen is just not right. It's just not right. Like I said, that Bulls team was developing. The second year, Jordan missed 64 games. So when he came, I'm shocked they shouldn't even made the playoffs that year, but they did. And like I said, I'm not gonna give Jordan all the credit for that because he missed 64 games, and that's one thing Jordan's gotta understand. Like, he made the playoffs, but he shouldn't get credit for that. That was a terrible year for the East, and they got lucky in making the playoffs, and that's just what it is. But I don't like the 1-9 thing because Pippen impact on that season was just not it. He didn't start one game. He didn't even average double digits in the season. Didn't even average over 25 minutes. He averaged 20 minutes in the playoffs. He averaged 10 points a game. So Pippen impact wasn't that great for the 1-9 record, so you can't use that. But I have about 10 arguments I want to go to, so I need to be quicker. So the second argument I would say is the 93-94 Bulls 55 wins. A lot of LeBron fans use that to try to make it seem like they use that to say LeBron's the GOAT, Jordan had a better team. He did not have better team than LeBron. He did not really have a better team than LeBron. I will say this. Those Cavs teams that LeBron first had, I'm not going to say those Cavs teams were better than these Bulls teams because he did not have a Scottie Pippen. And in the argument that I just did, I'm not saying Larry Hughes better than Scottie Pippen like all time at all. He's not. What I'm saying is it's a fact that Jordan was 1-9 without Pippen, but it's a fact that LeBron didn't even make the playoffs till Larry Hughes came. I'm showing how dumb that sounds. I'm making the point. But Larry Hughes is definitely not Scottie Pippen. So the Cavs team wasn't nowhere near. I'm not going to say nowhere near, but those first Cavs teams wasn't where Jordan. Sorry, those Cavs teams wasn't as good as Jordan's teams. So I'll give LeBron that. I'm not saying those Cavs teams, but we're not going to look past the Heat. As soon as he went with the Heat in his 8th year, better than any team Jordan had. And we could debate that. We definitely can. We could definitely debate that. So let's go. What team? I'm just going to go to a team. I'm just going to go to one of Jordan's teams. I'll go to one of the years of his 3-peat teams. Let's go to the 90. I'll go to the 92 Bulls. And let's go through that roster. I'm not going to go through no stats, but we're just going to go through the roster. B.J. Armstrong. People try to make it seem like he was all that. He was a great role player. Bill Cartwright was a big part of the championship team. He was a great role player. He was a
great role player, but he wasn't nothing like people try to make it to be. Let's see. Horace Grant, great player, great role player, great rebounder, great defense. I'll give him that. Bob Hansen, a lot of you don't even know who Bob Hansen is. Craig Hodges, a great 3-point shooter, but he's just another great role player. He's like a Boobie Gibson. Dennis Hobson, he out of college, he was a beast. He was supposed to be Jordan 2.0. Seriously, he was supposed to be a beast, but he didn't pan out. Of course, they had Michael Jordan, Stacey King. Stacey King was trash, great in college, but he was trash in the NBA. Cliff Levingston was a great role player. He was good for that team. They had Chuck Nevitt. They had John Paxson, Will Perdue, Scottie Pippen, Mark Rendell, Rory Sparrow, and Scott Williams. That's really not that great of a team. That's not a lot of talent. Jordan led them right, and they played their role. Then I have an argument for the coach later, but then people gonna say, but Phil Jackson is the reason. No, Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich even on record saying that it's really about the talent. It's not like coaching matters, but coaching is really not a thing you argue. That like one thing I hate when people use coaching that I'll talk about later. Just bringing coaching as like an excuse to me is just like saying. If to me you could just say, well, LeBron, if Jordan was as big as LeBron had Jordan's and had LeBron's genetics, he'd be better. Like you could say that, just like you could say he had a better coach because you really how good are these coaches really without the players? We've never seen Phil Jackson win without a top all-time player. We've never seen it. Even we've never seen Greg Popovich win without him. So it's like we've never seen Jordan in them or Kobe in them win without Phil Jackson either. But what I'm saying is they actually, I think the Bulls actually made Phil what he is because Doug Collins had that team, the East Conference Finals. They were just developing, and they developed right when Phil got there. Right when Phil got there, they was in Game 7 of the, in the East Conference Finals in '89 when Doug Collins was there. So they was developing. That was Pippen's second year. Jordan was still leading this team to get acclimated. So Doug Collins was gone. That's fine. Fire him because you want to go a different route. But Phil Jackson came in '90, and they went to East Conference Finals, Game 7. It was basically they went to the East Conference Finals the next year, basically with the same team. And in '91, they won a championship. I feel like they would have won with Doug Collins also. So we shouldn't give Phil all this credit, but we'll get to the coaching soon. And now let's go to the Miami Heat. We're going to go to the Miami Heat roster. Actually, I'm gonna actually go to one of the Bulls rosters. I'll go to one of the championship. We'll go to the 96 roster. Let's see, who do they have? Because people just like these teams were just stacked. No, they was just led by the GOAT, Michael Jordan. And before we keep going, I do think Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I have LeBron fourth. I definitely think he can get 2. If you don't have LeBron in the top 5, something is wrong with you. But I won't argue it. That's fine. But he's easily top 5. That's like, I don't know how he could be left out. But that's another topic. Let's see. The 96 Bulls had Randy Brown, Jud Buechler, Jason Caffey, James Edwards, who was old as shit. He was born in 1955. 96, he was 41. They had Jack Haley, Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, John Salley, Dickie Simpkins, and Bill Wennington. This was the oldest team in the league at that time. The oldest team in the league at that time. If LeBron had players of this age, they would be going crazy. The youngest player was Dickie Simpson, that's 24. But like I said, look up Dickie Simpkins. All I got to say is Dickie Simpkins. Just look up Dickie Simpkins and just let me know what you think. But to get back to it, these Bulls teams weren't as great as people saying. They're not as great as people saying. Before I get to the argument, let's just go through the Heat roster. I'll go to one of their championship teams. I'll go to the 2011-2012 team quick, and then we're going to give it the argument. I am going off topic a little bit, but I'm just building up this argument to show the teams that these dudes had. So we're going to go to the Miami Heat roster quick. Let's see. This roster, this wasn't even their best roster to me. When they get Ray Allen, it was. I'll just go to the 2012 team. They had Joel Anthony, Shane Battier, Chris Bosh, Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, Eddie Curry, Udonis Haslem, LeBron James, Juwan Howard, James Jones, Mike Miller, Ronnie Turioff, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. I think I said Chris Bosh twice. So that team was better than the teams Jordan had. Not by much. I'm not saying they was way better, but Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh were 2 all-stars for sure. The Bulls didn't have 2 All-Stars. They had 1 All-Star. And one of those years, they didn't even have an All-Star in 91. It was only Jordan.
So what I'm saying is, don't try to make it seem like Jordan's team was way better just because he won more. Because LeBron lost with super teams. But back to the 93-94 Bulls won 55 games. That they did win 55 games. I will give them that. When Jordan left, people thought they were going to be terrible, and they won 55 games. I will give them that. But there's context behind that. They were a championship team the year before. With Jordan, I feel like once he left, Jordan really, and they give him credit, Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong, Jordan really made them tougher. Made them tougher. They were a soft team. They came in the league soft. Jordan put a lot of pressure on them in practice to get better. Jordan put a lot of pressure on them to play their role and things like that. Phil Jackson helped with this too. I'm not giving Jordan all the credit, but he made them tougher. They saw his work ethic. They saw no excuses. So you have to understand that's how they became a really great team. Jordan knew, I need you guys to win the ring. And I'm not saying Jordan did it all by himself. Nobody in no sport does it by themselves. People try to act like a lot of Jordan fans make it seem like he does it by himself. Did it by himself. Look, it's more of LeBron fans think he does everything by himself. And he doesn't. Because like I said, that 017 was trash, but we're not going to talk about the 6 threes Boobie Gibson hit. The 6 threes he hit. Of course, it was because of LeBron. I'm not taking nothing away, but when people bring up, oh, but they did this without Jordan. Okay, there's teams that did stuff without LeBron, even this terrible team. So nobody does it alone. But the Bulls won 55 games because, like I said, they were a championship team. Jordan left, and then you still had Pippen to lead. Pippen was a great leader too, and Pippen led good. A lot of people do disrespect Pippen, a lot of Jordan fans, and I don't like that. You don't disrespect Pippen like that. But I will say this, I feel like Pippen does get a little overrated just so you can amp LeBron up, because Pippen was not a superstar who can carry you to a championship. The proof is in the pudding. The 2 years Jordan was out, they won 55 games, but nobody likes to talk about that 95 season where they was 34-31 fighting for 6th to 8th spot. People don't talk about that. They did lose Horace Grant. I will say they did lose Horace Grant that year. They lost Horace Grant. Horace Grant, the Bulls really didn't want to pay him, and Horace Grant saw the money in Orlando, and he saw that team up and coming, so he left the Bulls, and he didn't know Jordan was coming back. But like I said, that 34-31, they was 34-31. People never talk about that other season. And then the 55-win team lost to the Knicks in the best of 7. The Knicks treated them like little boys. Even though that series went 7, the Knicks knew they were going to win the whole game. If you look at that series, the Bulls took them by surprise when that series went 7. And a lot of people lie and say it was the East Conference Finals. No, it was the second round. The Knicks beat the Bulls. With Jordan, they never beat the Bulls. The 93 season, they did get swept. I will say that. They did not get swept. They were up 2-0. I will give them that. But Bulls them came back and won. So that's what I'm saying. Then one more thing before we dump this argument. The 55 wins, stop listening to Nick and Colin. They really lie to really make themselves sound good. So they say the 93 Bulls won 57 games and the 94 team won 2 games less. Stop it, guys. It's not the same. That was a coasting season for the Bulls. Just like the Warriors coasted last year and went 58-24, we know the Warriors could win 60 games with their eyes closed. They coasted all year. They didn't really care about the season. They just wanted to get a good enough season to get in the playoffs. The Warriors. I'm talking about the Warriors. Just like the Bulls last year. This was a 3-peat. The Bulls like, let's get through this season. Let's coast. We're not going to go all up like we did our first 2 years. Let's coast. The Bulls did that. They was coasting. You can tell when the team is coasting. You know the Warriors is coasting this year. The Warriors coasted last year. And the Rockets tried their hardest to get the best record, and they did. Just like the Knicks tried the hardest to get their best record in 93. The Bulls coasted the 57 wins. In 91, they was 61-21. 92, they was 67-15. The 93 team actually did better in the playoffs than both of those teams. Actually, no, the 91 team actually dominated the playoffs. They were 15-2 actually in the playoffs. But the 93 team was 57-25 in the season, but in the playoffs they was 15-4. They swept the first 2 rounds because they quit. They really picked up the defense, picked up the offense, and got a second win. They went down 2-0 to the Knicks, 1-4-2 and 1-4-2 versus the Suns. So that 94 team was not 2 games less better. The 93 team coasted, and when it was time for playoffs, they took care of business. So
Colin Cowherd and Nick Wright tries to use that. They only when Jordan left, they only won 2 less games. Stop that, please. And when LeBron leaves teams, they do get worse. LeBron, like I said, this is why he's a top 5 player. He has great things. He's going to do great things. Just like when Aaron Rodgers does one great thing, people say he's the GOAT, things like that. Like with LeBron, he does one great thing. No, you have to do a lot of great things when you're top players and stuff. LeBron's going to do great things. He's a top 5 player. He can possibly be number 2 in my book with the greatness he has. So he's going to do great things. But like I said, when he left that Cavs team the first time, a lot of people left. When he left the Heat, a lot of people left, and Bosh had a bad heart thing, so he had to leave. But the Heat was on the route to making the playoffs. Then next season, Dwayne Wade led them to the playoffs. So stop acting like when LeBron leaves teams, they're terrible. The Heat made the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs the year after LeBron left because we know why. Bosh had the heart thing, and they were in the running for the playoffs. And then the next season, they was 1 game away from playing LeBron in the East Conference Finals. So let's stop boosting up LeBron and trying to make it seem like his teams he played on was trash, because they're not. The Bulls 50, like I said, Jordan's teams wasn't trash like that either. He had great role players. I don't feel like LeBron's Heat and Cavs, second Cavs teams was definitely had better talent than Michael Jordan teams. It's just Michael Jordan's a better leader than LeBron, and the role players played the roles better. It's because of Michael Jordan's leadership and no excuse mentality like LeBron has. But that's really what I got to say about that. That's the second argument. And there will be a part 2. It'll be more comparing stats and things like that, getting deep into the statistics. But this is really dissecting arguments. So a lot of times I won't have the stats. It's more of just telling the truth about the arguments. But right here, I'm going to be briefly of this argument. LeBron better total stats. One thing I would say about this, LeBron will pass Jordan in points coming up here soon. I'm doing this on Christmas Eve 2018. And he's probably going to pass Jordan about, I'll say, in about January. He's going to pass Jordan. But like I said, it's context behind total stats. That's great. He's going to pass Jordan. It's part of his greatness. But like I said, Karl Malone has passed Jordan in a lot of statistics. He's passed Jordan in points. Dirk is going to pass Jordan. Is he there to go? But people are going to say, oh, Karl Malone doesn't have a ring. Okay, Kareem. A lot of people who says LeBron to go don't call Kareem to go, because he has all the stats, more MVPs, more rings than Jordan. And if you do call him to go, that's fine. If you call Kareem, even if you call LeBron to go, that's fine. But I'm just going to dissect these arguments of why people saying he's better. Yes, he has better total stats. He's played way more games than Jordan. Even in the playoffs, LeBron has better stats than Jordan in the playoffs. His averages are not better, though. His averages are not better than Jordan. His averages are better, like in other statistics, I will say that, but his points average is not better. Let's go through the averages quick. We're going to go through the totals also. Jordan played 1,072 games. Discounting the Wizards season. Jordan averaged 30, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, with 50% shoot, 49.7, but I'm going to say 50. And free throw percentage was 84. PER was 27.9. Win shares was 214. That's Jordan's stats. We're going to go to totals in a minute, but let's go to LeBron quick. LeBron averages 27, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. In his career, he's shooting 52% shooting. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. This is not LeBron career. Sorry, I was looking at this season. LeBron career, as of now, this probably won't come out to Christmas or the day after, so he's at 176 games as of Christmas Eve. And Jordan's only at 1,072, so he has played 104 games more than Jordan and still ain't passing him in total points. That is crazy to me. But let's go to LeBron's career stats. I'm sorry, guys. 27, 7, and 7. For his career, he's shooting 50% shooting. So he's 0.7 higher than Jordan in percentage, and Jordan has shot way more jump shots than him. And his PER is 27.6. Is very close. His win shares is higher than Jordan, 224.3. So LeBron, he is in the 30,000 club, 8,000, only player to ever be in that. So like I said, that's LeBron's greatness. He has more. He's a better rebounder than Jordan, and he has more assists than Jordan. I'm not going to automatically say he's a better passer, because like I said, people call LeBron the best passer now, but he doesn't lead the league in assists. He doesn't have more assists than James Harden or Russell Westbrook. But people's going to discredit and still say LeBron's a better passer, and I'm fine with that, because I think he is a better passer than Russell Westbrook. Him and James Harden is debatable, but what I'm saying is, just because you have more assists doesn't mean you're a better passer. That's deceiving. And I do think Jordan and LeBron's a little bit better passer. I'll give him that just by a little bit. But Jordan was a great passer. Jordan's assist numbers went down when his assist numbers definitely went down
His last 3 years, I will say that his assist numbers went down the last 3 years, and he was more just a scorer. But for the total stat argument, LeBron's not better just because of total stats. He's played way more games, and people are going to say, then I know Nick Wright's going to bring up, but he's passed Jordan points, but Jordan's taking more shots. But the efficiency level is still the same. Jordan percentage is just as good. So Jordan took more shots with the same amount of percentage as LeBron, basically. Jordan's 49.7%, LeBron's 50.4. That's 0.7 higher percentage. So it's like you have you just passed him, and you're 104 games ahead of him, and it's probably going to be about, I say he beat past Jordan about 10 to 15 games, so he's going to be well over 100. He's going to be about 120 games past Jordan. He's just passed him in points. That's crazy to me. So another argument is this argument for LeBron played harder finals teams, and Jordan never had to face a team like the Warriors. I will agree with that. Jordan has never had the Warriors are all-time great team. Jordan has never had to face a team like the Warriors. But we're going to leave out LeBron had a comparable team to the Warriors in 2017. I don't care what nobody said. Even production-wise, it says. He had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. They are two all-stars. Jordan has never played with two all-stars in the championship year, in any year. He had Scottie Pippen. Dennis Rodman didn't make the all-star team with the Bulls in 0 years. Horace Grant, when he was with the Bulls, he made the all-star team the 94 season. Jordan didn't play. So Jordan, the only all-star Jordan played with who made the all-star with him that year was Scottie Pippen. LeBron has made the all-star team with two teammates when he was with the Heat and the Cavs. So LeBron has had a comparable team with the Warriors that he could have beat the Warriors with. In a production, go to the 2017 finals. It matches up with what I'm saying. Kyrie Irving averaged 29. Steph averaged 26. Durant averaged 35. LeBron averaged 31. So you had a comparable matchup. Love averaged more than Draymond Green. J.R. Smith and Klay Thompson averaged the same. So it's like, why did you lose? Like, you had a comparable team, so don't try to make it seem like the Warriors. The Warriors are a great team. They are better than any team Jordan faced. I'm not saying they're not. They are better than any final team Jordan faced. But I will say this: LeBron still don't get a pass for losing them. You still should be able to beat them because you have comparable teams. Last year was not a comparable team, the team you had. So I'm like, okay, yeah, he lost, but you had a comparable team, and you did. 2016 finals, you did win, but LeBron didn't do it by himself like people try to say he did. Kyrie averaged 29. LeBron was the Finals MVP, but people have a case for Kyrie to be MVP also. So don't try to make it seem like, oh, LeBron 3-6 records because he faced harder teams. No, he didn't. I will say this: out of Jordan's 6 Finals teams, the only one I see LeBron beating is that 91. Within his teams, seriously. The 92 Blazers was a great team that LeBron probably would struggle with. The 93 Suns, LeBron would probably struggle with them. Any of his teams would struggle. The 96 Sonics, who was 64-18, he would struggle with them. He would definitely struggle with them. Let's go to some more. The 97 Jazz, 98 Jazz, both were 60-plus win teams. They would be good in this league also. LeBron wouldn't beat them automatically. His teams wouldn't beat these teams automatically with the Heat and with the with the Cavs. And people look and think the NBA was weak back then. A lot of like this generations, no, they wasn't. Those teams was great. The only team that I see like LeBron Heat team beating for sure is the 91 Lakers. And I'm definitely not saying LeBron couldn't beat any of the teams, but from my predictions, I don't think it'd be as easy as people would think. And those were Jordan Finals teams: 91 Lakers, the 92 Blazers, 93 Suns, 96 Sonics, 97 Jazz, 98 Jazz. LeBron Finals teams: 07 Spurs, 11 Mavs, 12 Thunder, 13 Spurs, 14 Spurs, 2015, 2018 Warriors, 4 straight years. The 07 Spurs was a great team, but like I said, I really think besides the 91 Lakers, any of Jordan teams can beat that Spurs team. The 11 Mavs couldn't beat none of the finals teams Jordan lost to. The 12 Thunder couldn't beat none of the teams Jordan lost to. That was
young Thunder team, Kevin Durant, Harden, and Westbrook still developing. That was Harden third year, Westbrook fourth year, Kevin Durant fifth year. They were still developing. They wasn't ready to beat any of those teams. Let's go to 13 Spurs. 13 Spurs and 14 Spurs were good teams, but they wouldn't have for sure beat all of the final teams Jordan played. People don't understand how good that 96 Sonics team was. They were top 3 in offense and defense that year. They had great defense. With Dulles Strength, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp leading the way. They had great defense. Sam Perkins. Like, man, you guys need to do your research. The 15 Warriors are probably the worst Warriors teams out of this Warriors dynasty so far. They definitely wouldn't have beat all of Jordan's teams. Now the 16 Warriors, they definitely got better, 73-9. That was a great team, but I really think that team would struggle against like the Jazz, I think. But the 17 and 18 would beat any Jordan Finals teams for sure. I do think that is going to be my third episode. My second episode of Who's Better will be Rodgers vs. Brady next week, and my third episode is going to be I'm going to compare the 96 Bulls to the 2017 Warriors, not the 16 Warriors, because the 17 Warriors had Kevin Durant. So the 17-18 Warriors are better than any team Jordan faced, but to be honest, the final team Jordan faced were great teams, and people say, oh, but they never won rings. The 11 Mavs never won rings. The 12 Thunder never won rings. The 15 Warriors never won rings before LeBron faced him. Now, the 16, 17, 18 Spurs won the rings, but 3 of the LeBron teams didn't win rings when he faced them. The 07, 13, and 14 Spurs have won rings, but those 13 and 14 Spurs teams was not as great as people saying. Like, stop trying to discredit Jordan's finals teams. Those teams were great. All of Jordan's finals teams, not all of them, 4 of the 6 won 60-plus games. The 91 Lakers beat a 63-19 Portland Trailblazers in the West Conference Finals. And people better stop sleeping on them Portland Trailblazers teams. Them teams probably will win titles today with their run-and gun style of offense and things like that. Like, people really disrespectful. The Lakers teams is the worst finals teams I think Jordan played, but not the Blazers, Suns, Sonics, and Jazz were not. Those are great teams. And LeBron's worst final team was the 11 Mavs, and he lost to them with a big 3. So don't let the media fool you, especially Colin Cowherd and them, and try to act like none of Jordan's final teams was better than LeBron's final teams. Because yes, some of those Jordan final teams were better than a lot of the teams LeBron faced in the finals. The Warriors, I'll give LeBron. Yes, he's played a harder Warriors teams than Jordan. I will give him that, but the 11 Mavs, he don't get a pass from 12 Thunder. People look at the Westbrook, Durant, Harden now. No, they was not the same players. They was young. And this is going to come to my other argument. And I'm really going to dissect this one. Players were old when Jordan started winning titles. That is one of the biggest lies told in sports. They were not old. They were not old. So people really need to stop that lie. Seriously, people really need to stop that lie. So here we go. Let's go down that list. First, I'm going to go to the Pistons. People say they were old. So in 91, Isaiah Thomas was 30 years old. He's born 1961. And fact check all these. Look up the years they were born and everything. In 91, Isaiah Thomas was 30. That's old. Jordan was 28, 91. Joe Dumars, 28. Same age as Jordan. Dennis Rodman was 30. He was 30. James Worthy was 30. He was actually on Jordan's college team. He was 30, and he's not on the Pistons. I'm sorry. I'm just naming players that Jordan faced in 91. Byron Scott was 30. Magic Johnson was 32. So what are we doing? We're going to just lie and say they were old? They wasn't old at all. They wasn't old. And that's just a lie. But I will say this. Let's go to LeBron's opponents. In 2013 and 14, he played Tim Duncan in the NBA Finals. Tim Duncan was 37 and 38. That's old. Tim Duncan was 37 and 38. Let's go to Big Three. LeBron finally beat the Big Three in 2011. Paul Pierce was 34 in 2011. Ray Allen was 36 in 2011. Let's see. Dirk Nowitzki was 33 in 2011. Kevin Garnett was 35 in 2011 when LeBron first beat them. That's old. None of Tim Duncan, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, even Jason Kidd was 38 in 2011 when they beat LeBron in the Heat. So, and a lot of people really believe that they were old when Jordan beat them. Even Larry Bird was 35 in 91. And he had hell of injuries, so I'm not going to even bring Larry Bird in here and Jordan and play him. But what I'm saying is,
Magic Johnson was younger than Tim Duncan, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, and Kevin Garnett when LeBron finally beat them. Isaiah Thomas was 30. Joe Dumars was 28. Dennis Rodman was 30. The Pistons was not old. The Pistons was not old when Jordan beat them. The Bulls just swept them. They beat them 3 years in a row, and the Bulls just swept them. They wasn't old at all. Like I said, if people want to go say they old, they wasn't old. Tim Duncan was 37, 38 when he was 37 when LeBron beat him in 2013, 38 when the Spurs beat the Heat. So he was old. He was older than he was like years older than Magic Johnson when he beat LeBron. So what I'm saying is don't listen to Colin Cowherd or Nick Wright just lie about the Pistons' age. They were not old. Joe Dumars was 28, the same age as Jordan. Isaiah Thomas was 30. They wasn't old at all. So that is a lie. And the Celtics, the big three Celtics was old as shit. Paul Pierce, 34. Ray Allen, 36. Jason Kidd was 38 in 2011. So it's like, don't lie. Kevin Garnett was 35. That's what I'm saying. And it's not really bashing LeBron, but it's really just dissecting the lies. That's all I'm doing. And we're going to, and like I said, I'm going to do a part 2 to just to compare the stats and stuff more. But I'm basically just dissecting these arguments to just, like I said, that's really all I got to say. And I'm going to come back to this. Charles Barkley, another finals opponent, was 30 and 93 when he played Jordan. Drexler was 30 and 92 when he played Jordan, and Jordan was 29. And people going to say Karl Malone and Stockton was old when they finally started getting to the finals. They were 34 and 35 in 97, 98. Karl Malone was 34 and 97 and 35 and 98. Jordan was 34 and 35, so he was the same age as Karl Malone. Stockton was 35 and 97, 36 and 98. Jordan, like I said, he was 34 and 35, 97, 98. So we could say they was old, but Jordan was old too when he beat him. But Tim Duncan was still older than both of them. And people not going to act like the Spurs team went old. Like, people really need to act like that Spurs team went old. They did have a young Kawhi Leonard. But the Jazz had young players, Howard Isley, Brian Russell, and them. So, like I said, people really just lying to try to up LeBron as a GOAT. If LeBron your GOAT, that is fine, but you don't have to lie and try to say, oh, players were old, the Bulls start winning. No, the Bulls just developed and got better. And Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili was not super old in 2013 when LeBron beat them. They were 31, but they were the same age as Isaiah Thomas, and people going to say Isaiah Thomas was old and like Rodman was old. They were the same age as them, like 31 and 30. Manu Ginobili, in 2013, he was 36. So it's like they were actually the players LeBron faced were actually older with them Spurs team and Mavs teams. Now the Warriors not old. Jordan fans, you can't use that argument of the Warriors was old, but nobody say that. Nobody says that. But I'm just gonna make some arguments when I hear people say the Bulls were old. They wasn't old at all. Like, that's just a lie, and I just had to call that out. Let's just go to another argument. Like I said in part 2, I'll listen to this podcast and write down notes and stuff that I miss, and we'll say it in part 2. Now, this argument's for LeBron. In year 4, I will give LeBron credit. In year 4, LeBron did take a Cavs team to the finals. I going to the finals and losing, that shows your greatness and stuff. So that's a part of greatness, but you don't get full credit because you lost, and we can't reward losers. But I'm bringing this up because in year 4, for a player, especially LeBron, he was 22. He carried that team to the finals, and that roster wasn't that great. He had Larry Hughes, he had Big Z. They were a lot of help, but LeBron gets credit for that. Definitely. Oh, sorry, guys. I do got to bring up one more thing for the last argument. That Piston team that LeBron beat in 07. I'm going to go over that. I'm mad I didn't write that down, but I'm going to go over that too. People say like LeBron beat the best defense ever. That team didn't have Ben Wallace. You know that, right? In 07. He gets credit for it because he still kind of manhandled them bad, and he gets credit for that. But I want to go to the ages. Chauncey Billups was born 1976. In 07, when LeBron finally beat them, he was 31. Let's go to I'm not going to look up Ben Wallace because Ben Wallace wasn't with that team. He was with the Bulls. And I'm not lying. You can look, like I said, everything that I'm saying in this podcast, fact check and look, because I know NBA. I researched this and I know it. Rasheed Wallace was 33 in 07 when LeBron beat
him. Tayshaun was young. I know Tayshaun was young for sure. Tayshaun was definitely young, but I'm just going through the lies of Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd talking about they were old to try to discredit Jordan, and it just gets me mad. It's like, wow, you guys just going to lie like that? Just like, if you think LeBron better, that's fine, but don't lie just to try to make. Like I said, I won't lie for why I think Jordan better than LeBron, and like I said, that would be more of a topic. This one is just really to dissect the arguments more, to like really tell the truth. But Tayshaun was 27. He was 27, but Billups and Rasheed Wallace was old. They were older than the old Pistons. They were older than the Pistons the Bulls swept off the floor in 91, who was mad they got swept. If they did beat the Bulls 3 straight years, they was developing and stuff. They give credit for beating them, but they got swept, embarrassed off the floor in 91. They wasn't old. And let's go to Richard Hamilton. Let's see how old he was. It's just like them just lies. That he was 29. So I'll get off that now, but I'm just had to dissect. And that Pistons team, like I said, that Pistons team was older than the one that Jordan beat. The Bulls beat. Jordan's Bulls beat. Because I'm not going to make it seem like he did it by himself, because no player does it by themselves. I hate when people get into that little crybaby mode. Like, he didn't do it by himself. Oh, so he played defense by himself. LeBron don't play defense by himself. And for Jordan fans, no, Jordan didn't do it by himself. He needed those players to develop to win championships. And that's what it is. You need a team. Nobody does it by themselves, and that's what I hate. But the thing that I give Jordan credit for is sticking with the team, helping develop. He didn't do what KD and LeBron did, leave their teams to go play with multiple All-Stars just to win a ring. You both had great teams. LeBron, them Cavs teams after the 07 was good. The 66 and 16 team was good. LeBron was leading them good for sure. They were good. Like I said, we can go to the stats of those teams. Mo Williams averaged 17, 18 in the 09. That team was good. The 2010 team was good with Delonte West and them, Big Z. LeBron was leading them right, winning championship with that team. Those are comparable to Jordan teams, what he was dealing with early on. It's just they continue to develop. The Cavs probably continue to develop with LeBron. They didn't win 66 games all just because LeBron. They were hitting. That team was playing great defense and everything. So LeBron and to get on KD, you had Russell Westbrook, who was a top 10 player for sure. I'm not gonna say top 5, but he was definitely top 10. You had I'm not gonna say James Harden. I'm talking about even when he left, you had Steven Adams. You had Ibaka. Like, y'all had a squad, dude. Like, why would you leave? You can win a championship. This is what legends are made. Win with what you have. I think they both could have won. So that's what gets me mad about them. I have about 3 to 4 arguments left, and then this episode is really going to be done. Let me see. So let me get back to the year 4. This really not an argument, but it's really giving LeBron props, because in year 4, like I said, year 4, he took that team to the finals, and nobody gets on him for that because it was impressive. And I'm going to compare it to Jordan. In Jordan year 4, that's when he got MVP, scoring top defensive player of the year. He didn't lead that team to the finals with Pippen and his rookies, and with Horace Grant and them, a young Horace Grant. They had Charles Oakley, they didn't have Bill Cartwright, but he definitely gets props for that, and that's a big thing over Jordan too that he gets, because he took that team to the finals in year 4, and in year 4 Jordan didn't take his team to the finals. He lost in the second round to the Pistons. So that's one thing I will, because I don't want to just bash LeBron. Like I said, I actually like LeBron too. I just don't think he's better than Jordan, and I'm just dissecting the arguments of the lies. And like I tell Jordan fans, the media is supposed to do this, because when Jordan was playing, people was doing this with Jordan, already calling him the GOAT after 3 rings, saying he's better than Bird and Magic. He wasn't better than Bird and Magic in 93. No, he wasn't the GOAT. People was on his dick, and in the media. They crucified Jordan too. People don't know that. They crucified Jordan too, just like LeBron crucified. LeBron gets it more because of social media age, and we have these sports shows that's on every day. So it does seem like he gets it more. But in the time, people, what they done to LeBron, people did with Jordan. He was Messiah, Jesus, and he could do no wrong to a lot of media people. But he got criticized by a lot of media people too. Like people saying, you're never going to win a scoring title and win a championship. You're a ball hog. You're never going to win, and things like that. So people got on Jordan. If it was social media, he would have got crucified too back then. But like I said, after the fact, people giving Jordan credit. A lot of people saw, yes, he's the GOAT after that 6th ring. And after the fact, when you look back on things, we always look back on things and think it was better at that time. When you're living in time now, you don't appreciate it. Like 10 years from now or 15 years after LeBron retired, people are going to appreciate LeBron a lot more. And there's going to be new players coming in. People are going to be like, he's not better than LeBron. LeBron is going to set a high standard with his stats and just everything. When there's new, like Zion Williamson, a lot of people's going to be on his nuts when he first come to the league and compare him to LeBron. Once LeBron retired, people like my brother Rod is going to be like, he ain't better than LeBron. He don't get 30,000, 8,000, 8,000, things like that. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. Comparing him to LeBron is because once somebody retires, we appreciate him more. And in the time, we don't appreciate him because it's like they're the people we talk about. We're going to say he's better than him in that. They did it with Jordan. So that's one thing a lot of people got to understand also. The media's supposed to do this. But for people like me, I have to get a platform to expose the lies. If you think LeBron better, that's fine for having your reasons. If you think he better because of stats and stuff, that's fine. But just don't tell the lies and say, oh, the teams Jordan faced wasn't that good in the finals. They were old and things like that. No, they wasn't. Colin Cowherd, I would love to debate you about that. So that's really not an argument. This is really giving LeBron props in year 4 for doing that. And Jordan year 4 didn't lead his team to the finals like LeBron. And I know he lost, but like I said, it took Jordan time to develop with his teams to win the title. LeBron, we didn't see him develop a team and win a title. He's never did that. So that's a big reason why Jordan better also. But I'm going to go to 3 more arguments. And I actually wrote this one down twice. One of them was Jordan had better teams. Jordan had better teams than LeBron. That's not true. We went through the rosters. His teams were not better than LeBron's. His championship teams, LeBron championship teams. And the team, even the years LeBron went to the finals, that Heat team, especially with Ray Allen and Rashard Lewis and them, was better than any Jordan team had, like talent-wise. It's just Jordan better leading LeBron, and Jordan lead his role players better to play their role than LeBron. And I feel like Jordan doesn't have excuses like LeBron does, because LeBron will say something like, oh, we need to have a playmaker and stuff when you have Kyrie on your team. LeBron, don't do that. Just because you guys are losing and you lost, you would say, oh, we need a playmaker. That throwing your teammates under the bus and stuff like that. So LeBron has made a lot of excuses and try to cry for help and things like that with a lot of his teams. And Jordan and Kobe did too. I'll say Jordan was mad at Dave Corzine and stuff. Jordan was leading the team in rebounding at a point in the season, like the 87 season. And he was saying, I need bangers and bruisers. I want mentally tough players. I need a better rebounder. So everybody cried for it, but they didn't do it like LeBron. They did not do it like LeBron. Every time he lose, he cries for help. When he went to the Heat, he was basically helpless. After last year, he thought he was helpless, basically had no help. A lot of LeBron's stuff is his fault because he's the main person. He tries to do everything. He tried to even play point when Kyrie was on the team. He tried to play point. LeBron, that's his fault. He doesn't. That's why I say about LeBron, he doesn't make players better. He makes teams better. LeBron makes teams better for sure. It's a difference. For any of you guys out there, it's a difference. LeBron makes teams better. His greatness, and that's why he's a top 5 player, his greatness, when he's on the team, that team is a lot better. Look at the Lakers now. Any team he gets on, they're going to be better just because of his talent, his IQ. But he doesn't make players better. He actually makes players worse. Jordan makes teams and players better for sure. Pippen is a perfect example. Look at Pippen first coming to the league. He didn't have a lot of the skill set. Of course, he had to develop. Pippen had to develop. But a lot of that was being a product of Jordan. Defensively, Pippen started working way harder in practice. Pippen started being in the weight room with literally like Jordan. Pippen started getting mentally tough and looking at his leader show. Don't let that bother you. Become mentally tough. You can look at the 91 finals. I have the Bulls tapes. A lot of in those interviews, like the when they won championship, and you have interviews and stuff. It's called Learning to Fly. I have all 6 championship seasons where they go through narration and stuff. A lot of them was saying that leader was a big reason why we started winning. He helped us believe. He let us play with our talents. So that's definitely a big part of why Jordan's greatness and makes players better. And he definitely makes teams better. And then I do want to get into another argument quick, but hold on 1 minute. Go ahead.
Can I get your debit card? I'm in mom's room, so I just need to go get some like little containers to put all her little Barbie accessories in.
Yeah, it's up my wallet's on the thing. And yeah, guys, it's just a pot. Like I said, this is me and Rod definitely want to kind of change the game with how podcasting is. people like you guys probably need to be more professional and stuff like that. That will come. But like I said, podcast is more like laid back, but want you to be real. You kind of want to be real. You kind of have a certain niche for your show. We definitely want to have like a first take type studio type thing and do things like that. But we actually want to have a laid back podcast where I'm cursing and being myself and things like that. So that's definitely what we want to get at. But also another argument about the 91 finals. It's not an argument I made, but I want to talk about that. I didn't talk about it. Guys, please, I'll pay you to come watch. I have 91 finals on DVD. People, don't listen to Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright. You have to literally look at that series. 91 finals, Jordan did not. Pippen did not guard Magic Johnson the whole series. Jordan guarded Magic all 5 games. A big part that we will see in Game 2, Jordan got taken off Magic in Game 2, and Pippen did a great job. He locked Magic up. He really made it tough for Magic. Magic in Game 1 was looking over Jordan too much. He was getting a lot of assists, looking over Jordan. Pippen was a little taller, and he bothered him a little bit more. He had definitely more energy than Jordan. But the reason Phil said he took Jordan off because Jordan needed the scoring load because they was lacking the scoring load in Game 1. But in Game 2, he wanted Jordan to score. So he took Jordan off Magic. Pippen did great. I'm not taking nothing away from Pippen, but the lie that I hear from the media is when Pippen saved Jordan, he started guarding Magic. No, he did start guarding Magic, but Jordan started guarding him back Game 3, 4, and 5. And then when they did the switch again in Game 3 at about the same point in the second quarter, Magic was killing Pippen in Game 3. He actually got Pippen fouled out. Pippen had got fouled out in Game 3. He didn't play in overtime, and Jordan scored 6 of 12 points in overtime to win Game 3. The Bulls were down by 15 in that game, and Pippen got fouled out in the fourth quarter of that game because Magic was actually killing him, looking over him. Game 4 and 5, they went back with Jordan on Magic, and Pippen guarded him sparingly sometimes, but Jordan guarded Magic most of that series, and that's a big myth when people lie and say Jordan saved Pippen. He started guarding Magic, and that's the only reason that changed the series. No. The Bulls lost Game 1. Yes, you're going to lose games, but they end up winning 4 straight, but it wasn't because Pippen locked up Magic. He had a good second and third quarter, making it tough for Magic. Bulls blew him out in Game 2, but in Game 3, 4, and 5, Magic was having his way with Pippen, and then Jordan guarded him most of that series. We can look at that series for proof. Like, I literally have it on DVD, so you can look it up on YouTube, because they be having the whole games on YouTube. You can look at that whole series on YouTube and watch the games. No, Jordan guarded Magic most of the series, and Pippen had a good second and third quarter on him, and that's really it. Okay. So another argument that they say Jordan played in the watered down league because we had expansion teams and stuff like that. We did have expansion teams starting the 88 season. There were expansion teams that came to the NBA. Expansion teams. I know the expansion teams, but I want to make sure I'm right with the year, so I just want to make sure I'm right with the year. So the expansion teams in the NBA were, let me see. I know who they were, but I want to make sure the years. 1988, they made expansion teams. So the teams were the Miami Heat, the Orlando Magic, Minnesota Timberwolves, Charlotte Hornets. Those were the expansion teams that came into the NBA. And then 95-96, the Vancouver Grizzlies and Raptors came in 95-96 season. So 6 teams. That wasn't a watered down league. I know there's videos on YouTube with Dr. J and Larry Bird was saying that helped the Bulls dominance a lot, bringing in expanded teams. That actually made the league better because you more players are playing on more teams. You have more draft spot. You have more players getting drafted. You have more talent comes in the NBA, and a lot of those teams started off winning pretty fast. The Heat made the playoffs 4 years after they expanded team. The Magic was on their way to being a dynasty before Shaq left after like 8 years. They made the playoffs after like 5 years. And so the 4 teams I said in '88 was the Heat, Hornets, Timberwolves, and Magic. Those teams were great. They drafted great players. Larry Johnson, Lonzo Mourning was on the team, Muggsy Bogues. They put some good teams together in the expansion team. So those teams were actually good.
who was beating Boston and things like that. With why Bird didn't want to say that with the expansion league, the expansion didn't water down the league. Actually made the league better. And there's only been one expansion team since. It was the Charlotte Bobcats in LeBron's era. They came in 2003, right when LeBron, or 2004, right when LeBron was a rookie. So people can't really use that as an argument. But the league wasn't watered down. The league actually was getting better in '96. People try to say Jordan didn't have to play against harder players. No, that's a lie too. The league was watered down. That was probably one of the best eras with big men, the 80s and 90s for sure. Especially when you have Akeem Olajuwon, Dave Robinson, Patrick Ewing, and things like that. Rodman was not on Jordan teams the whole 90s. The early 90s, you had Rodman, Barkley. That was a big year of the big men, Karl Malone and things like that. So you had great big men and things like that, Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, all those type players. So it really did water down the league. Those expansion teams actually made the league better because it started putting a lot of parity in the league. A lot of old players say that, but I think that's just a lie. And like when people say the expansion watered down the league, it didn't. When Burden was playing, there was only like 20-some teams. They played the best of 3 series in the first round and things like that. So and you would play teams like 6 times. So when when a lot of the weak teams was on your schedule, you would play them like 6 times. It's like, no, Larry Bird, that didn't water down the league. That made the league better with the expansion. And you could say that could be a reason why you guys started falling off the map, because Larry Bird and them stopped kind of dominating after the '88 season. That was only Bird's 9th year in the league. He was 32 at the time, because he went to 4 years of college, but he was 32 at the time. So the Celtics didn't get old; they just stopped being as dominant, and it was only Bird's 9th year. Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, Danny Ainge and them kept playing in the 90s and stuff, and they just wasn't as good. Teams got better. The league got better. It's not that they got old; they got better. And Jordan actually was older than Bird. When the Bulls was getting old, Jordan was 33 and 35 and won 3 straight. Bird injuries messed him up, but I just think they was really hating on the 96 Bulls to me. And the reason I say is because, like I said, they played teams 6 times, and a lot of them teams was terrible that they played. Like as the Bucks got weaker in the 80s, they played the Bucks 6 times and things like that. So it's like, just stop telling those lies, because expansion actually helped the NBA. It definitely helped it a lot, because those teams start being good right away with Shaq on the Magic, Alonzo Mourning, and them with the Charlotte Hornets, Larry Johnson. Like the Timberwolves wasn't that good, but and then 95, 96, the Vancouver Grizzlies and Raptors came. That made the NBA a lot better. It pushed the NBA up to 2019. Then in 2004, it came to 30. So that expansion argument is just dumb to me. And I'll do 2 more arguments, then I'm going to be done with this episode. Another argument that people try to use is for Jordan. The 6 on the finals, I feel like that is a little overrated. It's great. But to me, you can lose in the finals and still be better than Jordan. The reason I don't think LeBron can be from him losing the finals is because he's lost with great teams. You shouldn't have lost with the Heat, dude. Jordan didn't lose with the Bulls. You shouldn't have lost with the Heat because you had a lot of help. You had Dwayne Wade. And people try to discredit Dwayne Wade just to up LeBron. Dwayne Wade's better than Scottie Pippen. Like I said, people want to talk about the Bulls winning 55 games without Jordan. Dwayne Wade won a championship without LeBron. Dwayne Wade led teams without LeBron. So Scottie Pippen lead a team 1 year without Jordan, and that's a knock on Jordan. But we don't say nothing about Dwayne Wade winning the championship or leading his team to a championship without LeBron. And like I said, I debate my brother. He thinks Dwayne Wade is better than LeBron. Has points in his career. I don't think Dwayne Wade was never better than LeBron. Even though leading the team to championship, he still wasn't better than LeBron because his impact wasn't as high as LeBron and things like that. But this is strictly talking about Scottie Pippen and Dwayne Wade leading the teams. LeBron went to a guy who had won a championship already and led a team. So it's like, let's not act like he was playing on trash teams. He shouldn't have lost. He shouldn't have lost 0 finals, even to the Spurs. I don't care how great the Spurs were. They were old. Like they said about Jordan, they were old. Their big 3 was old. Kawhi Leonard was young, a baby. So you shouldn't have lost that team with the Heat when you have Ray Allen also. Ray Allen was old as hell when he got with the Heat. So I'll give LeBron that. But Dennis Rodman was old when he was with the Bulls. He was 35, 36, 37 in the final 3 years. So don't use the old thing. Like I said, LeBron had a stacked teams. With the Cavs, he had stacked teams with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. They even had they had good teams with J.R. Smith and they had Shumpert. Those are good teams, man. Seriously. Like, stop it. He shouldn't have lost. Like, okay, it's fine if you lose. Nobody says nothing about 07. You shouldn't have lost 2011. You had a better team.
You won 12-13. You should have lost in 14. You had a better team. The Spurs beat you. 15, okay. Kyrie and Love got hurt. You're not getting you for that. 16, you won. 17, you shouldn't have lost because the production from your players was just as good as the Warriors. Except Kevin Durant outplayed you that finals. He averaged 35, you averaged 31, you averaged 31 triple-double, but he averaged 35 and 1. Kyrie Irving averaged 29, Steph Curry averaged 26. Love outplayed Draymond Green. J.R. Smith and Clay was comparable from production-wise. I think Klay Thompson is better, but production-wise in the finals, it was comparable. So if you look at things, why did the Cavs lose? A lot of it was the reason I put a lot on LeBron because he was trying to play point in the finals. He tried to take over in the playoffs. He tried to do too much. You're playing point. You're trying to set things up and not let Kyrie Irving do it and get to your spots. That's one difference between Jordan being a better leader. Jordan was like, no, somebody else bring the ball down. These are NBA players. They can do it. He didn't do it alone. Jordan, get in the post. I'm going to dominate you. Give it to me at this spot. I'm going to dominate you. I'm going to play defense and things like that. So this is why I say, back to the argument, the 6-0 is a little overrated because you could be better than Jordan. You're going to lose. People are going to lose. Jordan lost. The 6-0 is really what helps Jordan, but it's still LeBron could have been better even losing the finals. But it's just how he lost in the teams he's lost with, and he's lost 6 times in the finals. And I don't care about the underdog thing. People say he was an underdog this, underdog that. It's not Jordan's fault that he led his teams better than LeBron's, and they were great. A lot of the reason them teams were so great and did so great is because of Jordan. Yes, they won 55 games in 94, but we can't forget also that when Jordan is on that team, in 96, they went 72-10. 97, they were 69-13, almost went back-to-back 70-win seasons. 98, they were 62-20, and Pippen missed 44 games. People want to say Dwayne Wade played hurt in like the last 2 years. Scottie Pippen played hurt that last season, missed 44 games. Games 6 of the finals, he barely played. Carried them and things like that. So, I don't know. From this debate, I just think Jordan is better, and I'm going to do a part 2 to tell why Jordan's better, but this one was strictly for dissecting those arguments, and I had to just say that. I'm going to listen to this, and in part 2, I'm going to come back of all the things I think I missed with these arguments, but to me, those arguments just, like I said, I had to dissect the 1-9 playoff record. That's just dumb when people bring that up, because like I said, Pippen impact in year 4, Jordan's year 4, Pippen's first year, did not have to do nothing with the Bulls winning that series. It was Jordan leadership, and the Bulls continued to develop. So the 1-9 thing is dumb. Like I said, Larry Hughes, like I said, it's a fact that Jordan's 1-9 without Pippen, but it is a fact LeBron to make the playoffs with Larry Hughes. His impact was better on the Cavs team than Pippen's was in that first season with the Bulls. The 55-win season, that's a fact that they won 55 games, but it's a fact that they were not two games. They won 2 less games. No, that 93 team's way better than 94. The 94 teams won the NBA Finals. They won a championship. They killed in the playoffs. They swept the first 2 rounds easily, and they also came back from down 2 on the Knicks, won 4-2, and then they won 4-2 versus Phoenix, won 15-4 in the playoffs. They coasted through the season just like the Warriors did last year. Coasted through the season. The Warriors got challenged and almost lost to Houston in Game 7, but they ended up winning the championship. So let's not try to act like that 55-win team is close to that 93 team, because it's not. So the 55 wins is just dumb. And like I said, Pippen, that was a championship team. They was led by Pippen, who's a great player. But like I said, LeBron has played with Dwayne Wade, who led teams to championships and stuff. So we can't forget that part. A lot of the media try to discredit Dwayne Wade and stuff like that to up LeBron. And the total stats argument with LeBron, you can't, like I said, you would say Kareem to go if it was strictly about stats, because Kareem has rings. Also, Karl Malone has total stats better than Jordan. Nobody says he's better if we're going to go to stat route. So don't try to do the stat thing. Jordan has a higher scoring average. LeBron has higher assists and rebounds, but not by much. Jordan averaged 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. LeBron averaged 27, 7 and 7. Okay, but he has better totals. He's played more. Longevity is in LeBron's favor. I'll give LeBron the longevity argument because 16 straight years is tough, but when you're at the caliber player of LeBron, just like Kobe, you're going to pass Jordan things. You're just going to do it. You play way more games. He's already, as of today, Christmas Eve, he's 104 games ahead of Jordan. 104, and he still ain't passed him yet. You played a whole season more than Jordan. a whole 82 games and some change, and this not including playoffs. Playoffs, he's played way more than Jordan. So you're going to pass Jordan. It's not a big of a deal as people think. When he passed Jordan, they're going to make it a big deal, but it's really not. And I want to say one more thing too with the seasons. It's a lot. Jordan not played 15 full seasons. Jordan really only played. From 84 to 93. That's 9 seasons. He played 8 full seasons out of the 9 because he missed his second year. 8 full seasons right there. Then he came back and played 3 full seasons in 96 and 97. So that's 11 full seasons. Then he played 2 seasons with the Wizards. He played 13 full seasons. People try to say he played 15 seasons. No, he played 13 full seasons. I'll say it one more time. From 84 to 93 is 9 seasons, but he didn't play a full season in the second year. So I'll say 8 full seasons. When he came back for the second three-peat, he only played 3 full seasons. That's 11. Then he played 2 with the Wizards. I'm counting the Wizards. We can count the Wizards. So he played 13 full seasons. LeBron has played 15 full seasons and still hasn't passed Jordan in points. He passed him in playoff points, but when he passed him in playoff points, he had played 42 more games than Jordan. Jordan played 179 playoff games. LeBron is at like 240 something right now. I'm not going to look that up. You can look that up, but he's definitely played more. He gets credit for it, but that doesn't mean he's better just because he has total better stats is what I'm saying. LeBron still gets credit for his greatness and stuff. He's in my top 5, but he's not better than Jordan because of some of the things people say. The final, another argument, the final team argument, I'm just recapping a little bit. His final teams was not harder. The Warriors were harder, but it's not a guarantee LeBron would have beat the final team Jordan faced. I say he probably would have beat one, but I really think he wouldn't have beat the Blazers, wouldn't have beat Phoenix, wouldn't have beat Seattle for sure, and wouldn't have beat those Jazz teams. Because, like I said, the way LeBron tries to play, his IQ is high, but like I said, he tried to take over a point, and they probably could have won if he would have let Kyrie run the point and let LeBron get into the spots he wanted. So, like I said, LeBron is head teams. He has head help, and people just try to discredit other players for LeBron. And it's just a lie. His final teams are not harder. The final team Jordan had, go look at their ratings and things like that, their records. Those were great teams. The Sonics was 64-18. They would have had number 1 seed any other year, but the Bulls were 72-10. The Warriors are better. I'll give them that. The Warriors are better, and we're going to do a comparative. I think the Bulls team would have beat the Warriors, any Warriors teams. So that's going to be for another day. But let's not try to discredit Jordan for his finals because those teams were great. Them final team Jordan faced. They never won a ring, but like I said, the 11 Mavs never won a ring. The 12th Thunder never won a ring. And people give him credit for beating the Thunder just because they had 3 MVPs, but stop it. We know they were young. They wasn't MVP caliber at that time besides the rent, so stop that lie. And then the 15 Warriors never won a ring, so it's like you're going to discredit Jordan team because his final team never won a ring. The reason they didn't win a ring is because of Jordan. So what are you talking about? The Lakers, the only team who won a ring before, but Blazers never won a ring, but we're not going to act like they wasn't a good team. They were 63-19 in 1991. The Lakers beat them. 92, the Bulls beat them. But it's like that was a great team. They didn't win because of Jordan. 93, the Phoenix Suns, they had their chances, but they lost Hakeem Punk Barkley 2 years in a row. They had their chances to win rings and things like that, but that was a great team that Bulls beat. The Sonics was a great team with Sean Kemp and Gary Payton the Glove, Dudley Strength and things like that. The 97-98 Jazz were great teams. People say they were old, but Jordan was their age. So... And then another argument I dissected was the old thing, and I proved that they wasn't as old as people saying. The Pistons definitely wasn't old. 91 Bulls beat them. Isaiah Thomas was 30. Joe Dumars was Jordan age 28. They had Vinnie Johnson, who was 31, and things like that. John Sally wasn't that old. Bill Laimbeer wasn't that old. He was 31 also. So it's like, stop with the old. Tim Duncan in 2013 was 36 when he lost to LeBron. LeBron beat him 37. Actually, I'm sorry, he wasn't 36. He was 37 in 2013 and 38 in 2014 when they won. And Tim Duncan possibly could have got MVP if the Spurs would have won, if they would have won. So it's like, don't do the old thing. The big three was, if we're going to say Jordan played against like Magic and the Pistons when they were old, the big three were old. The Pistons was old in 07. If we're going to say they were older than any team people say Jordan beat when they was old, like the Lakers and Pistons. So that's what I'm saying. Don't use the old thing. The watered down league thing is a myth too. Even like Birdman was saying that the expansion actually helped the league because those teams get good right away. And with Bird and Magic and them, they were playing teams like 6 times who was terrible. On your record, you're playing them 6 times. So that's a watered down league if we're doing that. The league actually got better
when those expansion teams came because more players get drafted, more players get to play on those teams, and you put more all-stars on those teams, and them teams develop really fast. So it's like that actually made the league harder. That's probably a big reason why the Celtics start losing more. Is because the league went to expansion. The Celtics wasn't. The Celtics just started losing. Their time was up. I feel like I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are trying to discredit Jordan in today's game just to up LeBron, and it's just really you don't have to do that.
And people need to stop down on LeBron. LeBron's a top 5 player. Jordan had choked before. Jordan choked in 95. I know he had just got back, but there's nobody saying that when he hit 55 against New York, people saying Jordan, this is why he's the GOAT. He hit game winners. Jordan was he got his legs under him. He choked in 95. Nick Anderson nipped him in game 1. The Bulls could have won that game. They won game 2. Game 3, the Magic won. Jordan hit key turnovers in the clutch. Game 6, where Jordan could have had a game 7. Jordan had like 2 turnovers in the clutch, and he missed some key easy layups. So Jordan choked before, and LeBron definitely has choked more than Jordan. 2011 was one of the biggest choke jobs of all time. In 2011, actually, Dwayne Wade averaged 25, and LeBron averaged 26. Jordan's never played with a player who averaged 25. Never. Scottie Pippen's never averaged 25. His his highest average in the season was 22. So this is what I'm saying. Let's stop acting like LeBron didn't have help. In the finals, LeBron was the 3rd leading scorer on his team, and like the 6th in the finals. Jason Terry averaged more than LeBron in the finals, so he's choked too before. LeBron, I feel like he choked in 09. I'm going to say he killed in that series, but I think he choked in 09 versus the Magic because you had the best team, y'all was number 1 seed, and then I feel like you choked because you let the Dwight Howard team that you guys should have beat you. And I'm not gonna say he choked like that. I would just say you shouldn't have lost, basically. I'm not gonna say choke, because choked is when you don't come to play at all. So I'm not gonna say he choked. But if from that argument, I won't say Jordan choked, because Jordan killed versus the Magic. I just feel like he choked with some of the dumb things he did, like with the tones and stuff. So by the definition of choking, Jordan really never choked. LeBron only choked once. But from my definition of what they should have did, I think LeBron choked 3 times from the 09 and 10. He got the stats and stuff, but I feel like he choked. But I feel like he should have won even with the teams he had. In 2011, he choked. And that's really the only time. I'm not going to say he choked versus the Warriors. He just lost. He should have. He had comparable team with them 2017, but he just lost. But like I say, he don't get no excuse, though. From my definition, Jordan only time choking was 95. But if people are going to bring up, how did LeBron choke and he did this and averaged this? If that's the case, then Jordan didn't choke in 95 either then, because he averaged a lot that series.
So yeah, I did a lot of talking, guys, and this really, like I said, it's a laid-back podcast. I had to just go through these arguments and just put this online. And like I said, it just gets me mad to hear Nick Wright and them just lie. But I'm definitely going to come back to this topic in the Who's Better series with Jordan versus LeBron. I'm going to do more of a stat comparison. This was more just to dissect the arguments.
But yeah, this Who Better series is going to be either some episodes going to be me by myself, Rob by himself, and we're just going to talk about who's better. I have a lot in store with this series. This was the first episode. I'm going to do Rodgers versus Brady next episode. Hopefully I can get that to you sometime. Just do a little research to compare. And then the third episode, I'm going to do 96 Bulls versus 17 Warriors. I'm going to explain why I'm picking those teams in that episode. Then I don't know what I'm going to do for the 4th and 5th, and see if Rob want to get in on it. We could do episodes together. But I really, in 2019 and stuff, I really want to get these differences off the people. I want people to know about it more, so I definitely want to do more work behind the scenes, get this going, get a website going, and start uploading more videos, get fans and stuff to like kind of critique like any lies we tell or debate any facts we tell and tell us your criteria and stuff like that. Because we all have opinions, man. The GOAT is an opinion, it's subjective. I think it's Jordan easily, but if you say LeBron, I'm not mad. Say LeBron, say Kareem. It's just when you try to tell lies to prove your point, or just try to just switch your criteria up just so you can say LeBron's the GOAT or something. That's what I don't like. I'm not switching my criteria up at all. My criteria is the same for everybody, and I just picked the player who did the best of that criteria, and it's Jordan. And that's really what I did for this. I'm not really. The part 2 is going to be comparing why I think Jordan's better, more like with the stats and like just like we can go to MVP scoring titles and stuff like that, averages, comparing that. But this was more just for the argument's sakes. And who's better won't be like that all the time. Like Rodgers and Brady, it won't be with that. It'll be more comparing like the stats and stuff, championships, things like that, their impact. So their impact on the field and things like that. So that's really what's in store. And then, yeah, definitely hope 2019, 2020 could be some good years for Brotherly Differences as we put out more things, put out more stuff. We definitely want to do maybe documentaries and things like that. Try to do a few mini series. I don't know the topics, but like I say, even not even talk about sports, but definitely just be a voice out there. Things like that. Just get fans behind our opinions. We want to have conversations with people and not like fight each other over our opinions and stuff. Because like I say, I like different opinions and I like to debate. So it's like, I want to get a platform where we can do that. And like I said, Brotherly Differences need to come off strong. I'm not going solo. Rod is still a big part of it. Like I said, we're trying to figure out our lives now and just like build up enough capital to like start, like I said, a production company with Brotherly Differences and things like that. That's what we have in store is going to happen. But it's definitely going to be doubters. And I know people like, why you guys don't put out stuff? It's like, yeah, it's a lot of things behind the scenes you don't know and things like that we're doing. But like I said, we're definitely going to put out more material. And I know we always said, but like I said, we're actually I've been proactive with this research and things like that, learning copyright stuff, learning media stuff. LaRod, he's journalism degree. I'm not, I'm accounting. So I'm really doing my own research because I don't want to go back to school for this. Because like I say, this is technology generation. YouTube, you can, like I said, you can make it without a degree in this. And like I said, it's just about researching and stuff like that. But I'm going to end this episode. I hope you guys listen and let me know what you think. We need to be more active on our social media platforms. You can look us up on Brotherly Differences. Search us on Facebook. Just put in Brotherly Differences and our page should come up. And we have a Twitter. It's at Sports Debate 247. Sports Debate 247 on Twitter. Be more active on that, and then we can like have debates on that and stuff like that. So thanks for listening to this first episode of Who's Better, Jordan versus LeBron. It was kind of a different way of doing it, but I just had to say this stuff, and it's kind of long, but I hope you listen to the whole thing. Thanks a lot. This Mike checking out Brotherly Differences.